mind of more than existing. The um, the woman I'm going to speak about today, and I'm speaking early before people get in here so that when you're watching recording, you're not sitting in dead air. And I'll repeat some of this again. You'll be wondering, why is she repeating this again? But you're going to hear me repeat a lot of this stuff again and again. So I'm just waiting for some people to join in before I start and catching my own breath as Today, as I start to speak, I'm not bringing in channel, I'm bringing in Corey. I'm bringing in the essence of all of who I am and my truth. And I was going to pre-record this message today, and I can't. It can't be pre-recorded. It has to be spoken live because I had to have a courage that I have to find my own courage and my own strength to just like I always say, more than exists. So good morning, Rich. Good morning, Natalie. Good morning, everybody who's joining in. Thank you to all those who do watch and don't comment. I know you're there. I appreciate your love, your support, and your continual following of my page and my work. I'm always honored and blessed to have the people that I have in my life, and I'm humbled by these experiences that I get to exist within. But today is a different reading. Today you can see there's two pictures of me on the screen. I have a different, and if you're on my personal page, you would have already seen this picture, that this was my profile picture yesterday as I courageously put something out there of myself in a different way, not a photo that's taken by anyone else, but of me. Hello, Rhonda and Kelly, Mary, good morning. Um, and I think I said hello to Rich and Natalie. I'm very much in my own thoughts here right now. So I know the room takes time to fill up, and I always look down and look at the words going across the screen and think, oh, how many of those words come out so jumbled up because of my Newfoundland accent or my little slurs I have. So today is definitely not morning. It is not morning of coffee and contemplation, but I am drinking coffee. I've had a very interesting morning, a very interesting day. And this message has been playing out for a while through my life and through my head and through my heart, and mostly through my heart. And I want to speak this message because I think the world, or my world, needed to know this message. And I hope that it helps your world in some way, and that somehow it will bring a little bit of shine a little light up on anything that you're carrying in your heart today. So this message is, and you love my accent. Thank you, Natalie. It's funny, if I'm in a lot of places in the US, they don't think I have an accent. um, Let me take a little swallow of coffee with this one. So yesterday I posted this picture on my personal page, and this picture was taken probably about a week ago, a week and a half ago, whenever I got my hair colored. It was the exact same day, and it was right after I had blow dried my hair. I even put my eyeshadow on that day. I even put some face on. I don't wear much as in makeup. I wear a tinted moisturizer. But I've been working through some of probably my deepest challenges. The more you ascend into a level of healing and accountability, the deeper the healing goes. And it's such a big healing journey that I've been upon. And so when I posted this picture, a lot of comments that come back, and I don't do it for comments, and I don't do it for likes or loves, or I don't do anything in my life anymore to be liked or to be loved. I do it because I am finally fucking stepping into just my own journey. And if anyone wants to walk along with me, then I'm happy to have people walk with me, happy to have people join me. But I'm telling my stories, and I'm living my truth, and I'm doing what I should have done years ago. And that's freeing myself of a lot of what I carry. Right? You had to do it. So exactly. So you thought it was Maggie, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Maggie, for those who don't know who Maggie is my beautiful daughter, and she is absolutely freaking gorgeous. My daughter is stunning. She is very successful. She has achieved great things in this life. She has done many beautiful things. She's a mom. She is married. She's just one of those women who just she's got that it. She just is. And for years, I could never look in her reflection and see me. I never seen me. I would accept the compliments that she looked like me. So when I start seeing these messages yesterday, I had to zoom in to see if it was you or if it was Maggie. And in my mind, I instantly went right to defending myself and saying, it's not I didn't go in and filter the shit out of this picture. The camera, your cameras, all of our cameras automatically filter a little bit. I didn't go in and filter out the picture. I wanted to justify it. And I want to say, and I did somewhat, and I kicked myself in the butt after. And I'm like, I justify some of the comments with, the upside of having migraine Botox is that it smooths my skin. I've altered my own look in ways of my lips, a little bit, my Botox, whatever. And then all night I've sat with this. So ever since that picture came up yesterday, ever since, it's a 50 thing. It is a 50 thing. So April the 1st, I turned 50. I am 50 years old. And I fucking thought it was going to be this. Corey gets so mad at me when I swear on here. Don't get mad. He just says, Corey. and I'm always using the F-bombs. But if I want to advertise them, they can't have F-bombs. So since I turned 50, I guess I had this image of what I thought 50 was going to feel like. Be like I was going to empower. I was going to own turning 50. Like really own it. I was going to just hurrah the shit out of this. And it hasn't been. I'm just like, what the hell? See, it just shows we have no control. So anyway, back to the story. So the picture came up about, the comments kept coming in about, I had to zoom in. I had to look really close. I thought it was Maggie. It looks like Maggie. And in a way, I was like, it was almost like, are they kind of judging me? Is it that, oh, she filtered the shit out that and that's who she looks like? And no, I did not. But that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story is that this is the face of what it feels like to free yourself. This is freedom. And I couldn't put and my friend messaged me this morning with a dream she had of me last night, and we both had the same dream. And so I am healed is kind of what was the dream in basis. But this face of what I posted yesterday and why I posted this is the face that is free of anger. This is what it's like to free yourself, to be authentic, to be true, to no longer have to become anything for anyone. The card that's on the other side of this is the card that was created when I was well on the journey. And I was so just falling into this work so big. And I hold myself to such a high standard. I have since I was a little girl. I have such high standards on who I am, the caliber of work I do, perfectionism to its absolute T in work, in things that I do, which is trauma response, things that I've worked on over the years. But my whole why to this picture was that I can look into the face of my daughter. And I am a lot of my daughter. My daughter is a lot of me. She's a product of what I have done as a mother. She's a product of what she has done based on genetics, based on the fact that she is a strong, confident woman, based on the fact that she also learned from some of my biggest mistakes. Some of the times when I didn't stand up and defend her or defend myself, when I let my anger turn into destroying myself on the inside, when I should have found a voice to stand up and say it wasn't okay, that it wasn't right. And all of those things took me so far away from my truth, from my happiness, from my own beauty. And so I wrote my Diamond Effects course tomorrow. I kept passing it on the couch the other night, and I kept writing. I kept waking up, and it kept me writing and writing and writing about about the dance, about the beauty of the dance within us. And your chakras, your energy centers are not stagnant little boxes that are within you. They're energy centers. They're places where you hold the truth that is often lies, the parts of us that get us tied and caught in stories and be entangled in webs. And so when I posted When this picture was taken, I seen something when I looked into the mirror that day that I have not seen. I don't think I've ever seen it. And it has taken me years to see it. A face that's no longer angry. But I had to allow, and I have anger, don't get me wrong, but I'm not angry at me. I have been angry at myself for so fucking long that it overpowered and overwhelmed me. Angry that I didn't stand up. Angry that I stood there and I watched somebody from the past, a relationship from the past, as I would stand there and watch that person, you know, make out with somebody else in front of me, cheat in front of me. These are all things of 20, 30 years ago. But those things, and then I still took those people back into my lives because I was the good person. Because I was being a good person, because I could overlook things. I held myself to be more mature, wiser, smarter, and I would do those things. But in the meantime, it wasn't wise, it wasn't smart, it was harmful. And I would never speak up or say what I needed to say to those people, ever, ever. I would forgive people as fast as they would put a dagger into my heart, or as fast as they would hurt me, because that's the standard of who I am as a good person. In the meantime, I became angrier and angrier and angrier at me. That I became so severely injured, the neurological condition, my spine, and all of those things, because the way that I would try to fix the own anger inside of me was to try to give more and more and more to everybody else. Work more, avoid life, be that perfect hairdresser, be that good hairdresser, be the one who's always at work, be loyal, loyal to a fucking fault, loyal to a fault in so many areas in our lives. And so the face and the image of who and what I am today, only in these past few, is me. So everything that I've ever done for me, I've either laughed it off, I've half-assed it, I have not given myself the credit, or I give the credit away, or I try to justify and explain it. Whatever I have done between my surgery, my weight loss surgery, my treating my migraines, the Botox that's extra on top of that, my lips, whatever it is, those were things that I've done because I wanted to. I wanted, I felt, I knew who I was. I knew what I was. I knew what I wanted to feel like, look like. But no matter what I was doing, the anger was so overwhelming, not towards anybody else, not towards my work, not towards anything other than to myself. It took me to pushing myself to show up, to be present for everybody. And there's areas and places where I look back and go, it's not okay. Like other people's insecurities that they lash out on you by either trying to mimic you, be you, shun you, discount you, underrate you, trying to belittle all of those things that people do to you, cheat on you, all of those things are not okay. Because because we say, we understand they're just human. And yeah, I may have the ability to see beyond, and I may be able to see the spirit within, but every spirit within has a human body. And every single human body is responsible for your own freaking actions. You're responsible for your own shit. You're responsible for what you do. And I've carried more than enough of that over the years. More than enough. And so I'm not angry at me. And that's the difference in this body. I am no longer angry because I am no longer my eating disorders. I'm no longer, shoving my finger down my throat to take out the energy of the words that I did not say. Because I spent years with words that would stifle down inside of me. And yesterday was the, mental health Monday. It's all about mental health. And it's all about, people posting all of these things. There's many places and many times in my life where I've spent my life being discounted. I've spent my life being underrated. I've spent my life discounting myself. I've spent my life giving my all to others who in return walk away without even blinking an eye. And that's not, and that's only because it's what I've allowed. It's what I have done. I don't even look at hadn't even looked at my accomplishments of what I've done great in this life. And I'm telling you all of this because you all have something of this story within you. Something that holds you from letting your truest of you true you shine. And it don't have nothing to do with Botox and plumped up lips and looking young. It has to do with seeing your own beauty, your own radiant, glowing light. That you are not here to be the punching bag, the sponge, the carrier of everything that you're afraid to say to the world, or you're afraid to say to others, or that you said it was okay. That it was okay, that's okay. I forgive you. Yeah, you forgive them, but you don't forgive yourself. And how we know it, it shows up in the attitude. And those damn freaking cards I created, they've exposed me to such a place in my own journey because they're inspiration and freaking attitude. And so through this, and why the book has not been created, is because I keep rewriting the book. I keep rewriting the book. I keep rewriting the story. And if you're coming in and you haven't heard this from the beginning, I do suggest go back and listening from the beginning. Stay though, don't leave now. Stay with me. I love the support. But this picture is me. This picture is me. That picture in the card, that's also me. That card was created about me in a search for my wholeness, about the hours and the times. And I never thought in a million years I would be the person who would lay in that bathtub and have two bottles of, like, and I don't mean little bottles. I mean, someone accidentally wrote out the wrong prescription for codeine after my surgery. And the pharmacist said, I have to give you this. And so gave me 2 big bottles of codeine. And this wasn't yesterday. This was a while ago. And I'm sitting with those bottles of codeine on the end of the bathtub. And I'm sad because, family was deleting me from Facebook. I'm sad because I'm hurt because people think that I'm telling the stories about them. I'm hurt about all of these other things in life. I was carrying these shame, hurt stories. I'm hurt because I possibly may have said a wrong word to somebody. I was mostly hurt because of the attacks. And people making up stories and assuming things about you. And I didn't, and I still didn't, I forgave. But those bottles would sit there. And I seriously contemplated if I could stay. I didn't want to stay here. Being a wide open heart, being kind, being compassionate, being so caring to a fault in your lifetime leaves you with a lot of hurt in your heart. And so the universal light of love, Lumarian, every time this card comes out, she looks like she's at such peace. And it was deep contemplation. It was in raw, stripped down, that every single time I would get in the bathtub and I would let the water run out and I would sit naked, balled up in a ball. And I would think, can I breathe? Can I get out and do this again? Can I do this again? I was so hurt. And I couldn't pinpoint all of it. But the moment I started to stop being angry at me is the moment I started to feel free. And that was the changing factor. That who I am at my truth, who you are at your truth, is so beautiful, so radiant, so glowing. And how the Lumarian name came was that it was beings that I never ever thought. If someone would have said to me 20 years ago, oh, you're going to see these blue beings show up in your life and you're going to see this and you're going to look like, you're effing crazy. That's not even possible. But it was the light. It was the light of that Christ-like light. It was the Lumarians. It was something so beyond, so out of body experience that showed me the power of what will really means, and showed me the power of what a hurt human does to another hurt human. And if we don't heal who we are inside, that hurt projects it on people. And it's funny, we often projected it onto people who are usually the nicest and kindest to us. Did you notice that? We often project it out on the people who are nicest and kindest to us. So I have fought my whole life to be what I thought was to be a number one. I wanted to be important. I wanted to be, but it wasn't. It was to be a number one to me, to make myself a priority enough to free myself. So this picture, when you look into it and you got to zoom in because it looks like my daughter, well, my daughter's a product of me. I am a product. She's a product of everything that I taught her and told her through the work that I do. She would say, don't coach me, of telling her to not let somebody else's story own her. Do not let somebody else's projection impact her life, that it stops her from being her beautiful self. Let nobody take her light. Let nobody overshadow her. And she listened. And she's had to make some tough decisions in her life. But she doesn't live angry. She lives happy. And that's kind of where I am. That's this journey. I am not angry at me at all. But I am finally ready to speak some hardcore fucking truths. And those truths don't mean I'm coming after people. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that I am not any longer hiding and justifying this. So when I wrote my book, and my dear friend Althea Gray, who's the healer who I work with through New Mexico, she's a dear friend of mine. She's a world-renowned healer. And she said, as are you, my friend. You are a world-renowned healer. It's just too bad that you can't see yourself as all of who you are. You keep wanting to give away your light. And so when I wrote this book, there was more to the story, but I'm not allowed to tell those stories because you're never allowed to tell your real truths. So when this book came out, and when this story came out, it comes out in the way of softening things up. It's lighter. And when you have to get permission from when you have to get permission from the places where it hurt the most, where you were treated like the garbage and you discounted and it's a hard blow. It's a hard blow. But you also realize your own role of how much you have treated yourself like garbage, how much you treat yourself like you are a second class, a second rate to anything in humanity. And so freeing yourself and to be able to stand tall, to let yourself shine, is to allow yourself to be you, to be your truth, to step into your light in the most powerful way. So forgiving others is not forgetting, but by forgiving others, that's one thing. That's easy. Have you forgiven you? Have you freed yourself? Have you let it out of you? Have you remembered to dance? And I don't mean put another fake face on and laugh off what you're angry about. I mean, let yourself get angry. Let yourself be mad. Let yourself have those moments. I held myself to too high of a standard, and I'm conditioned and taught that. Especially in my hair industry, the client is always right. Even if the client is emotionally abusing you, even if the client goes out and trashed you all over the world, you don't say a word. You just let it go. And you carry that burden. You carry that smear, that hate. And then you keep trying to justify to people you're not that. No, you don't have to do that. That's not a truth. And so finding your way to your truth and to your happiness and to your joy truly is about allowing yourself to feel your truth, to feel what is true for you. So what this card ended up representing and how she ended up in the crone cards was that she truly still baths every single day. And I own my truth. I live in that truth. And I have done some deep-seated healing. Two, when I said that. I'm going to come back and read your comments. I got to get out of this. And so now when I look, so this card and the contentment on the face of the light of love, that's a truth. The contentment in my face is because I am a light worker. I am the owner, the creator. I am the owner and the creator of a 66-week program that I created all through me in a span of 2 years called More Than Existing. I wrote the book, More Than Existing. I've wrote 5 books in 2 years. I've written, created, not painted, not did the artwork for a deck of oracle cards. And I still sat back and would look at my life and say, I wonder what I've accomplished. I start numbering the videos in Facebook and YouTube because I'm being told to do those. And I have almost 400 videos out, plus a school. And I was wondering if I have done enough. If I have done enough, what have I done? I feel like I have done nothing. I owned one of the biggest salons and spas in Slave Lake ever. I've accomplished some big things in my life. But when you're constantly feeling like you are not enough, that you've not done enough, like you discount yourself, when you discount yourself and you self-sabotage yourself, that the anxiety, the depression, all of those things are all the things that keep you second guessing that worth of you. So when you start to know you free yourself. This is liberty. This is liberty. This is what it's like to free yourself. So if you need to be pissed off, angry, you need to do that, because that's where your desire comes from. And I was in a class with a friend, a colleague. She actually helped me when I first started out, and she helped build my first website. And I did some coaching with her, and it was Crystal Andres Morissette, and it was in her edge. And we talked about, the stages of what we have to go through. And anger, when you can let yourself become angry, you finally say, it is not okay. It's not okay for people to mistreat you. It's not okay for you to mistreat others. It is not okay for us to disrespect each other. And for me, in my work, the way I put it is dignity. Is that we are here to show each and other dignity as in humanity. Respect is earned. And people now have to earn my respect. I don't just hand that out. And so those things, but if you're going to show the world dignity, you have to show yourself that. And caring means that you don't turn a blind eye to finding and seeking and discovering and caring and healing and taking care of the most important things that you need to take care of in this life. And we can't turn a blind eye to the things that we don't want to have to face. So caring is much deeper than surface. So this is the face, this is the life of not surface diving, because I didn't surface dive to do this work. I went into the dark night of the journey, because I am not spending the next 50 years of my life depressed. I'm not spending it with anxiety. I'm not spending it half-assing it. I am not letting myself lose myself again and holding back what I need to say. I'm speaking a truth, but with dignity. I can speak a truth with dignity. I can say it with honesty, that what happened to me, what was done to me, and those things hurt. And those things are real. And so today, I hope in some way that this truth resonates to you, and that you can use this some way in your life to be that for you. And that when you post that if someone believes that this may be the younger version of that's you, which is my daughter, then I will happily take that as a compliment, because she is my inspiration. She's the one who takes no shit. She really does. If she's angry, and she's the same thing, she gets it projected on her. She'll let you know. She courageously made some choices and decisions recently because she couldn't sell her soul to the devil. And she had to take a stand because she said, Mom, you taught me about integrity and dignity. And I cannot bow down and apologize, or I can't bow down and say that I did something I did not do, and I refuse to. And that's the truth. And I will not hold somebody else's garbage. So today, don't hold anyone else's. Start to free yourself of all that you hold and all that you wait for, that apology, that acceptance, that whatever. Free yourself of it, because it will never come. And when it comes, you will still be harboring so much that the illness inside of you will hurt so bad. And that's what sets us free. And that's who we are. And so I no longer, and it's not about what I do in workout or anything else. It is what I freed myself of. Because anger, hate, all of those things that become your reflection are fucking ugly, man. And I don't mean ugly in your beauty. I mean ugly in what they do to your body, what they do to your mind, and the stories you start to tell yourself, and where you go, and how much you self-sabotage your own opportunities, your own life. So today and every day, find the beauty, find the magic. And I am more than existing. And I have not been using my title everywhere. And I've been kind of backtracking around it because I've been in creation, is what I call it. Finding my way to here. So if you can be anything today, be honest. Be honest and be true. Be true to you. And it will start a new journey of changing your life. It really will. Now I'm going to read some comments. Hold on. Let me bring me back. Okay. Right? Ellie, you mastered the beating, right? And Amanda, you're feeling exactly what I'm saying. Yes, exactly, right? Alicia, we forgive others, but we hold ourselves to a standard that makes self-forgiveness difficult, right? Yes, exactly. I'm crying a form of healing since you pulled a card for me last couple weeks ago. All I've been doing is crying. I can feel my heart. It's heavy. So, Destiny, yeah, you're crying. Your crying is crying a form of healing. Yes, it is. So it's a release because that's what we harbor inside. I spend more time shedding tears on this journey, and I am the healed healer. I'm not even going to lie. And my friend messaged me that today. And it's funny, I had two conversations with two friends today. And both of those friends are two of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. And I mean outright good human beings. Nice. And I'm like, I'm them. I'm that kind of nice. Like I couldn't see that before, but they really are. And they both gave me beautiful messages this morning, as was with the dream that I had. And so crying is a healing because how often, Destiny, have you sucked it back? Suck it up, grow up, right? Like those messages those words that you hear, and to a child, those things become overpowering, right? It's like, so this is your healing, and you're going through a big healing. You're on a journey, Destiny, and it's the beginning. Ah, thank you, Victoria. Yes, I do feel very appreciated. I never feel underappreciated. I know I have such love in my life. And when I look, and when I taught last night, I said to my girls in the group that I was teaching, I'm like, this is like, as I look into the reflection of everybody that I work with, I'm like, it's a blessing to know that this is the life that I now get to live. Like there's such truth. And now that I can appreciate the blessing, now I got to start picking, putting myself in perspective of I've been messy, like, because I didn't know who I was. I had no idea who I was because I was so busy, I'm so busy creating for everybody else, wanting to help everyone else, wanting to give out this work, that in the meantime, my own healing journey, my own heart journey gets put to the side. So I was back doing some of the things that I was doing when I was hairdressing, and I had stopped making myself a priority. And hey, everybody who's joining, I'm so happy you're all here. And for those who can't stay and didn't stay, then I hope you watch later. And if not, it wasn't for you today. It wasn't for you. It wasn't a self-centered journey. It was a journey of truth. And so it was something that I was going to pre-record. And then I heard, no, you need to speak it live, because that's the whole thing. Anything that you want to do that you pre-record, then that's the things that you can edit and fix. This you can't. Once you put it out there, Corey, it's out there. So that was the message I got. Tyler, I love this card so much. Second time seeing this card come out. Yes, Tyler, it was actually one of my favorite cards as well. It kept getting moved around in the deck. And the number 43 that's on it is funny, because 43 was kind of about the age when I wrote out, I'm finding happiness and joy no matter the cost. and life started to change. And I think that's around about the age I was when I went to Sedona and I had my experience with Mother Mary in the middle of nowhere. And so, yeah, it's been a journey. There's pivotal, I always say there's pivotal turning, changing points in your life, and they come in ages. And so it's like, it's that 16, 18, 21, and then 27. 27. And Gene Simmons actually wrote a book called 27, and it's about all the celebrities that die at 27. But for me, and so when my partner seen it, he's like, "Hey, Gene Simmons also talks about 27." I always say your life, like, it's a critical turning point in your life at 27 of which direction you're going to go and how your life is going to unfold in the next part. And so it's 27, and then 33, and then 37, and then 44 is another critical turning point in life. And then 40, about 47, 40, about there, 43, yeah, 43, 44, and then 47. So 44 for me, I always thought I was dying at 44. That used to be, and I well lived past that. And so then it was like 47, 48, but I never had an expectation on 50. I never put 50 as a pivotal number. I didn't know what 50 was going to bring. I didn't know it was going to bring me this kind of journey that I'm on right now, which is a whole different journey. Ah, you're welcome, Angie. Exactly. And that's why I speak these things. And this is why I write these books about these things, because these are things that we've hidden, like we have hidden in shame for a lot of years. And you hear me say time and time again, I hate fucking secrets. I hate secrets. If people had to deal with the secrets from years ago, we wouldn't have had to struggle. If we had to get the help for the people that needed it years ago, we wouldn't have had so many other people be a ripple effect of somebody else's freaking bad behavior. If we had to have the courage to take a stand, to stand up, if we had to stop looking at things that happened in life and to say, you know what, why is it that we consider it to be a shame story and we sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't happen, and we let that harm continue, like fester out there? And then when you do stand up or you do speak out, you're shamed, you're ostracized, you're the one that's kicked out the pack, like for finding a voice, for speaking a truth, for saying, I'm not saying it's a judgment. I'm saying it's time to heal. It is killing me. So you'd rather see somebody else suffer, be harmed, be hurt than speak truth. And so to find our truth and to speak our truth is not for anyone else. It's not to cause harm to anyone else. This is not about anyone else. This is your journey. And to do the healing work, to do what you need to do for you, it's because for the first time in your life, you're probably making yourself a priority. And that's the truth. I have a daughter, and this really hits home. I have a lot to learn from my daughter. She stands tall and shines. Exactly, Alicia, because you you gave her all the best of you. So you gave her all the best of you. And my one of my first talks that I gave at More Than Exists at Women's Winter Wellness, when I created that event with a few women a few years ago, we did like 4 years of more of the women's wellness in Slave Lake, and then we did the big More Than Existing this year. And the first one that I ever spoke at, I said, through the eyes of my mother, I look back now and I think, everything that she didn't have the strength and the courage to do for herself, to give to herself, she inspired me to do. She gave me her light. She encouraged me to keep going, to not take shit, to not to do things, to don't let this cripple you. Don't let it hold you back. Like, she did that. Well, I also did that for my daughter. But you are as valuable as your daughter in the eyes of the God consciousness. And so when you learn the power of walking in grace, what it means to walk in grace is that you treat yourself the same way that you would treat your own children. You would treat them. So if you don't treat your children very good, then you're treating yourself the same way. But if you treat your children as if they're like the most invaluable things you have, and you will do anything to help them, save them, you have to see yourself the same way. And you have to treat yourself that same way. That's the standard. That's the standard to how we should be looking at how you are treating yourself, what you make acceptable. So think of your daughter being a teenager, and if some boy, grabbed her by the throat and put her up by a fence, what would you do? If so, right, if someone called her all kinds of names and bullied her, what would you do? You fucking go, you go into it. You would do anything to protect them. Why do we not do the same for ourselves? Right? Why do we not do the same for us? And if it wasn't done for us, why wasn't it done for us? Why wasn't that done? And not to lay blame, but we look at if what some people, like what some parents don't have enough gas in their tank, they don't have enough beliefs in themselves, they're just existing. And so it was hard for them to be present or to be there. But somebody has to break the cycle. Somebody has to break cycles. And I will not be shame blamed. I will not be holding that stuff, and I will not be making it okay for bad behavior to continue. Right. And that's what I've taught my daughter. I love that two, 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 Tyler. That's so cool. See, that's how it all works. Don't get out this. I need this so much. I'm not going nowhere. Actually, this morning I woke up and I'm like, maybe I should just shut down for a while and take some time away. And then I was going around in my pajamas, and then I had to get dressed because I had a session to do. And then I'm like, go upstairs, go do what you need to do today. You're not pre-recording this. So yeah, so I've been I haven't been on my Instagram much. I haven't been sharing my cards because if I'm not authentic, I can't do it. There's just something there. If I don't have it, I don't have it. And so I've actually been like, there's a whole lot of me that I've been so just not there. And it could, because I think I've needed so much for me right now to do the healing work on me. The final pieces, right? It's like those final crumbs, those final pieces that I had to clear up for the next stage of the journey. So I think it's kind of like lookout world. Joanne, thank you for being so vulnerable and putting your feelings and experience out there. Hopefully everyone in this deep hole will be able to help themselves, and they're happy from their, and they're happy from their story. Yes, exactly. Because joy is something internal. Happiness, nobody in this world can bring you happiness if you can't free yourself of all that entraps you and that holds you hostage. No matter what comes in your life, because you'll be waiting for the next bad experience, you'll be waiting for the next thing to happen. You'll be continually mistreating others with words and actions when you don't even know you're doing it. It's our attitude, right? Ah, yes, through my mystic training. Yes, so that class is like, I'm going to do it in increments of 2, Tyler. And I never even, like, when I was guided to put that course out there, I'm like, oh, that's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I'm a realm healer. I'm trained in realm healing from years ago. And I'm like, and my friends have been asking me to teach a realm course forever. And I'm like, I don't want to do a realm course. And they're like, oh, and then one day all of a sudden it was like, you're going to do it, but we're going to do it in increments. So it'll be 2 classes then, 2 classes later. And I think it will be like a total of 9, so that no one has to take all of them. You can just do the ones that you like. 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks we get to spend together. So yes, so get signed up. Say it out loud, I'm amazing. uh, yes, Rich, I'm not there yet. Can't get those words out. Blah. I'm sorry, Shanae, I'm not doing actual readings in my early day things that I do here. I do it as a collective message. I'll still give a card for everybody here, though. I'm not done with you guys. I still got some cards for you for today. That was my message. See, thank you for being here, Tyler. And thank you to everyone who's joining in. You were always told to be strong, right, Destiny? Yeah. Heather, I feel the tears releasing. Yeah, tear, right, exactly. It is. Tears are a release. That's what it's for. Aw, good, Amanda. I'm glad that helped you. 437. Yeah, so it is, Joanne. So it is. Yeah, so it is. So I'm not seeing all those other comments that are coming in here that I don't know what all that is. Okay. Natalie, I made a mistake of speaking my truth a bit too harshly a couple weeks ago. I guess it really wasn't a mistake. After doing so, I felt free. It just didn't come out as nice as I would have liked it. Yes. So I always say when I speak my truth, I ask for my truth not to come from my hurt heart. I would don't let your truth come from your hurt heart. You let it come from your higher self, from your healed heart, from a place of love and light, and so that it comes from a truth that is heard, that is spoken with like conviction, that is spoken with a power, like those type places. There's moments and times I go, I do this stuff for people and I try to help people out and I try to encourage people. I invite people to do some stuff with me, and I never get the same back. I get it's almost like it's like a slap in the face after. Like, I go through those little spurts that you get, and then I stop and I laugh at myself and I chuckle and I'm like, that's never what you ever do anything for. You do things because that's just who you are. You love to share, you love to empower, you love to help, you love to inspire, you love to work with people. And so the rest never really freaking matters. And you've never been a part of a group like I've been walking my own little journey, my own little path. My mother always said, I didn't need a friend. I needed a just put me outside with this piece of string with it. She said I could content myself with anything. And I'm just been content. And the world has made me feel uncontent because you just get caught up in things. And I was always just content, and to just be content. I never looked into the reflection of anyone else and thought, oh, I wish I could be like them, or I should try to be like them. Nothing like that ever entered my mind or my heart. And so when I go to speak to people, when I have something to say, I often can't say it. It never comes out because all I do is cry. So your harshness was probably giving you was might have been a little bit of a power up, but it's don't let the hurt of your heart speak for you. Because if I always said if I let my hurt of my heart speak for me, oh my God, it'd be like a 5-year-old. And so it's not the 5-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old. I don't want any of those to speak. I want who I am today to speak my truth. I want who I am today to stand in my own power, to stand in my own light. And so that's when the higher self speaks, and to know that I got to take a deep breath and make sure I don't cry sometimes when I speak, because then I can't get the words out. So a key to stay in focus is to stay on topic. Stay speaking. So make sure your topic has a beginning, a middle, the end. Get it out, and stay focused on what it is that was the original. Don't go looking back trying to find all kinds of other things that while you're in the story. Well, while I'm at it, I might as well tell you this and this and this. Don't go there. Don't go there. Just speak the truth that you need to speak right now from that healed self. I hope that helps you. Right. And see, right, you kept it all in for exactly. It's like a pressure cooker. Exactly what it is. Suppression is like a pressure cooker. And that's where our attitudes comes in. Our attitudes comes in because those things seep out. So for long times, like little bits seep out, it seeps out, it seeps out, it seeps out, it seeps out, and then all of a sudden, it explodes. It explodes. And that's what happens. And so when I found myself getting exploding into that anger, was I got so angry at myself that I'm like, okay, this is a fucking enough. Are you gonna let yourself like gain the weight back? Are you gonna let yourself lose this business? Are you gonna let yourself fall down? Are you gonna let yourself and I'm like, okay, are you done being so fucking angry at yourself? What are you really angry at? And who are you really angry at? And did you ever, then I started to think, I always say it's like, oh well, it's because of who I am. I shouldn't be that kind of angry. I should No, you're fucking right. Some people are just assholes. And some people just do asshole things. And I'm not speaking of the spirit that's within them. And so an asshole behavior is an asshole behavior. And remember that. And it's like, and that means that, you can be a very positive person and live a very positive life, and also know that those people are never going to change, or they're going to change on their own time. You carrying and harboring that inside of you, it's never going to change them. And it's never going to change the story. So you expressing and finding that way is that you then can be your happy self, be your positive self. And I'm going to live my life and there's this guy on TikTok, and he just popped up before I came on here, and I started to laugh. And I laughed so hard. His thing is at Hey Asshole or something it's called. He's a Canadian guy, and he made a choice to choose that no matter what was happening, he was going to start trying to live positive. And he got t-shirts and hats, and everything he starts is, "Hey asshole, let me tell you this today." And I started to laugh, and I laughed so freaking hard, right? And it's like, it's such truth, is that, when we're caught in our own attitudes, we're being such an asshole to ourselves. And sometimes we're our biggest asshole. And that's such a truth in our lives, is that we can be an asshole. And so I don't want to be an asshole when I speak to people. I don't want to be an asshole in this world. And so I'd rather find a way to free myself of those things, and to be able to be happy and joyful, and to know that truth within. So your beauty, your youth, your healthy well-being exposes itself, and you start to live as your healthy well-being, when you're no longer angry, when you're not owned by all the things that have happened in the past, when you're not harboring every bit of that resentment, that hate, all of those things, and I mean towards yourself, for the things that have happened. When you can set yourself free, you're not responsible for everything that's happened in the world. And you're not responsible for everything that has gone wrong. I wonder why they don't speak to me. I wonder why they're not in my life. I wonder why they deleted me. I wonder why. I wonder why they don't I wonder why they speak about me that way. Well, maybe they're just being an asshole. And maybe it got nothing to do with you. Not everything is about you. And today a picture popped up, which was my friend, and we were in Toronto, and I was all dressed, and all these people kept coming up and asking, "You work for a Hay House? When are you speaking? Oh my God, I seen you. Like, I see you a mile away. Like, who are you? What do you do?" And I've lost that spark. That spark I've lost. And my friend said to me that day, "Listen, it's not all about you." And and I start to laugh, and I rolled over and I laughed, and I'm like, that is so funny. But it's like, but the real honesty about that was that I've really made nothing about myself. So if you've made nothing about yourself, if you have not made yourself a priority anywhere, then you lose it. So I've been losing the it, because the anger and those things were taking away some of the most precious things about me. Don't apologize because you are positive and you're happy and you're radiating a glow, or that you're succeeding. Stop fucking apologizing that you're doing well. Stop apologizing that you have to speak your truth. Just find that peace within to know that it's yours. Right? Ooh, and the thunder rolls. Thunder just rolling through the sky here. The angels are rolling for me here. Um, Natalie, yes, it does help. I haven't wanted to rock the boat and keep the good relationship going with family members. So it was me pleasing again. Yes, exactly. You don't have to freaking please everybody. My daughter's father is an asshole, especially towards my anxiety. It's never going to change. He's never going to change. Yes, exactly, right? So what is that anxiety? Speak to the anxiety. What is the truth? What is it that you are harboring within you that is you are personally owning? Because Destiny, you're personally owning something that anxiety has such ownership on you. And always say sorry, like you, right? And have talked about before. Exactly, right? Make your sorries freaking count. They better be damn good ones. And so, yeah. And so living that truth. So now I'm going to make it about you guys. And now I'm going to, I know that story helped you some. I hope that story helped you somehow. I hope that resonates with you. And this is why these mornings of, I'm like, why is it that I'm not in doing just mediumship and just choosing people for readings? It's not how it's supposed to be right now. And I trust that journey. And I trust I have to deplete a lot of energy to do 10, 15 mediumship readings. It's not even like if I just pick up a card and I just pull a card for somebody. To do my mediumship work is I have to drop every bit of energy. I have to open up. I have to allow spirit to take over my mind and my body to do that work. It is exhausting. And so the breaks they've had me on is so that I could channel into me deeper. And that's what you need to do. It is exhausting to let somebody to let yourself be owned by your past or by your own emotions. If your emotions are owning you, if you're harboring all of those things, it is exhausting. It is in your heart, it's in your head, it's in your body, and it festers and it becomes pain in our body. It's parasites. And so the people that leave us like poking holes in you like that, they're parasites. They're parasites. And it doesn't matter if it's family, if it's like you don't have to keep allowing parasites just because you feel obligated to keep holding on at all. All right. So let's see what I got for the energy for you guys today. Peaceful perspective. Peaceful perspective. This is Paisley. Paisley was what I wanted Maggie to call Sadie. That was the name that came up. Not that I wanted to. It was the name that I heard. And I didn't realize when I was hearing it that it wasn't going to be Sadie's name. It was going to be a card in the deck. And that Paisley, so Peaceful Paisley is card number 6. And card number 6, she has, you can't see the one hand that's holding on to something from the past. And then she's trying to set herself free. But the full peace is not coming. You're not fully at peace because you're holding on to one little item. And so today mine was the fact that finally freeing myself of saying, I am not being angry at myself no more. It's like this essence of who I am now and what you're seeing now, this is my truth. And I'm blessed with some good genetics. I am blessed with some good genetics. I am freaking blessed with some good genetics. If you have seen my mother is 70 years old and she's still hot, like hot. And her sisters, one sister still freaking teaches aerobics and she's 75 years old. She still works out like 2 or 3 hours a day. So there's some really good genetics in my family. So there's a blessing. But it's not just the anger. And so this is when you're holding on. And so this card is lighting up the one thing that's keeping you from the peace. So she says she lets go. So in the More Than Existing book, what I write of in the More Than Existing book is that I write of holding the crown. And so when I had my awake experience, when Mary took me to the cross and I had to put the crown of suffering onto Jesus, and he told me I had to put it down and I was looking into his eyes. That's all written in my book. And so when I'm putting the crown on, I speak about, I had to push that down and it was so hard to hand over that suffering. But when I wrote the book, Dr. Wayne Dyer came through to me and he says, no, you're not done. There's one more chapter. You are not finished. You have to push this a little bit further. You always have to be willing to push yourself a little bit harder. Put a little more effort into you. And so it was in the last of the book, I wrote about seeing myself still holding that crown. So everything that was still happening in my life, if I had honestly and truly had let go of that crown of thorns and placed it where I was supposed to, I would not still be struggling and suffering. So as long as I'm still struggling and suffering, it means that we have not let go. It means that you're still holding on to and harboring something that is keeping you from living in alignment to your true, honest, authentic self, into making peace with all the past. So there's always something that is holding us. When nothing has a hold of you, you free yourself. So the light is shining up on in a beautiful way to say, this is this last little dove that you see that's lighting up. She's the one. That dove is the one key piece of you that when you let go, when you free yourself of that, everything in your life will change. Everything. To let go. So I always say, it's like, so instead of just saying, I'm going to quit, say you're going to start preparing for your new future. Start looking towards what is next for you so that you don't leave yourself suffering more in the meantime, Amanda. And then know that you've set an intention. So I think today you just set yourself an intention because you just put it out there to the universe, that you've just put it out there to the universe, that you may be now on the search for something new for you. So this is Peaceful Paisley. And please feel free to share away with this. Share these videos out. The more that we can share love and light into the world, the more that we can. The more that the world will light up. And then we have the observer. And this is Shelta. And so if you are the observer of all the life that you want to live through watching somebody else grabbing onto life and grabbing life by the horns and just taking life and just going to live it, and then you're resentful that they have it and you don't. It's like, it's time to take a good look in and say, it's not that, why do they, stop saying why are they successful and I'm not, or why do they have it? It's because they put the damn work in. It's because we all have a season. We all have a time. There is always the opportunity. And if we let our opportunities slip by when they come, there may be a chance again. But instead of being resentful of what somebody else has, be great, be happy, be grateful, be happy for them, celebrate with them. The more that you celebrate with what somebody else has because they've worked and they've deserved it, not what somebody else just steals and they didn't do the work for it, they just rob it from somebody else. There's a difference. But when you see how hard people put the work in, when they're putting the action steps into doing it, then be an observer and say, what do I need to do for me? Don't try to become them. Don't ever be the second best of yourself when you can be the best by trying to be somebody else. Don't ever try to be the second best of somebody by trying to mimic another. Be your truth. Be you. And so when you become the observer of your life and you can look back at your day, look back at take stock of every one of your days that you're existing in. And look at the role you're playing in your own day. Observe your own behavior, your attitude, how you speak to people, how you're contributing to society, how you're showing up for you, and take a stock of your day and look at your things. Do not be afraid to look at your own negativity. Do not be afraid to look at your own bad behavior. Do not be afraid to look at your own attitude, to explore it and say, how can I, like, this is not working. How do I be the change that I need to see? And that's what the observer brings in for us. And we're in a clear the air energy right now. We have a lot that's going on. And then we have the performer, and we have Sasha. And Sasha, when she's got to feel like she's got to put the act on, she's got to be somebody, she's pretending. And I always know when I'm not feeling it, when I go to do a recording and I get this high pitch in my voice, and I know that's my anxiety. I've recognized what is anxiety for me. And so when I have that anxiety, I'm like, okay, reel it back. So if you were listening to my most recent podcast on She Is, you would have heard me say on last week's podcast, wait, stop. And I didn't delete it. Wait, stop. This is not authentic. This is not me being me. There was anxiety in my voice. I could feel the anxiety because my voice goes up. I get panicked. And so when I do, I feel myself slipping. I feel myself losing something. And chances are you're getting caught in your head, or you're worried that you're not going to be able to do enough. You're not going to give enough. It's not going to be enough. And so when you find that you're not being authentic to you, you recognize that, why am I performing? What is it that's holding me hostage today? What is it that has me, what is it that has me not being my true self today? And to find yourself being able to free yourself of that, to look at that, to be able to see and notice. We pulled a 6, we have a 3, we have the Trinity, to be in alignment to your truth, but also to know that, some of us are real flashy, and it's like, if you're someone who your favorite outfit is plaid pant, like plaid shirts and oversized jeans, and that's how you dress, and your hair's in a ponytail, and you call it your favorite look, it's your look. Sometimes you got to ask, is it your favorite look, or is it your comfort look? Is it what hides you? Or if we're always dressed up, is that your truth, or are you trying to be somebody? What is the purpose of the clothing? Because are we clothing the persona? Are we clothing and dressing the performer of us, the shadow of us? Who are we dressing? Or who's the truth? Like, I love high heel shoes. Always have, always will. From the time I was little, I love short dresses and short skirts, but I also love floorland. Like, there's things that I love about myself, and if it don't feel right, I can't wear it. I can't even perform. Like, I can't act that out. But if you find yourself, it's like, why? I have a friend who would always wear like high neck shirts, and she's like, but I love them. I'm like, and I'm like, why do you love them? Well, it covers me up. I don't like to be exposed. I said, what are you afraid of exposing? And that question changed everything. But what are you afraid of exposing? Well, it's my safety. I'm like, so it's protection. So the clothes becomes the protection. And to a certain degree, clothes is protection. But if it's masking and hiding your truth, and you go to 1,000 stores and you find all kinds of things you like, but you would never buy them because that's not who you are, but you get drawn to them and you keep going to them, you keep looking at them. Well, somewhere behind that, there is a truth. And we're not living as that truth because we're so caught up in being what we think we should be. And I have, it's like, and it's funny because I always say, my mother always points out the most funniest little things to me. She brings me home a statue from Arizona that's an Aboriginal woman that's like bent over. She's like in contemplation, and she bought it at a garage sale, and she bought it back from Arizona. And she said, I bought this because as soon as I seen it, I said to the woman, she said, that's my daughter. And she's like, what? And she said, that's my daughter. That sculpture, that piece of art, that's my daughter. That statue is my daughter. It looks just like my daughter. And she brought it home, and I said, it looks like me. She says, it does. She said, except for the turquoise, because you don't wear turquoise. And she said, but everything else is you. She looks like you look to me. And I'm like, well, that's not how I always thought I looked to you, because that's not how you describe it every time we talk about diets, right? It's like, but how people see you is nothing like sometimes how you see yourself. So how your true self keeps pointing out some obvious things to you that you don't want to see within yourself is you notice it when you go to a store, you go to places, and you keep saying, oh, I wish I could wear that. I like that. Or if you just see it on somebody else and you keep trying to put it on yourself and it just never fits, you see yourself moving around, and then you're like, well, it's not really yours. But when you find yourself stepping into you find yourself observing and looking at things and life a whole different way. And you're looking at your life and you're looking at you and you see things differently. So the last thing that she did, I'm shrinking all these down. Oh, shit. Hide. So that picture on the wall in the gold dress, which is one of the cards, my mother was here the other day because she's back here visiting. And so she stopped in and we were getting some clothes out of the closet that belonged to her. And she says, oh my God, I love that picture. And she said, that looks like you. I love that picture. I'm like, you got the weirdest way of showing me the ways that you see me, because nothing of how she envisions, if she shows me a picture or she sees something, is anything of how I've heard or perceived the images of what she thought of me. And it's weird. And so it's been a very big learning curve and a journey of everything that we hold on to when we're angry, when we're frustrated, when we're hurt, when we hold on to those stories that have held us hostage. because I don't see myself the ways I didn't. I'm finally, so when I took that picture and I looked in the mirror for the first time, I've been starting to see an image of me that I know to be true. And everything that I do for me, most things I don't even tell anybody, because it's not for me to tell anyone else how to live their life. It's not for me to, say, oh, I do this, or it's like, and it's not open for discussion or for judgment. I don't ask someone's opinion. I don't ask somebody else what someone thinks I should do when I'm doing things for me, like doing things that are for my health or I don't ask opinions. I don't go on and do polls and go to support groups and say, oh, tell me all the good, bad, and the ugly. No, once I know it's for me, I trust that. And I do that for me because I trust something that is so innate to me. There's this confidence that I trust, and it's the connection to the spirit within. It's connection to that source that I know when those things are right. And so finding myself being able to finally see something, see the effects of see the effects of the diamond effect of living now in my Christ-like light. Living now in the Christ-like light, freeing myself, has now allowed me to see something that I have not seen in years. To see my own beauty, to see my own confidence, to see my own pride, to see, and by pride, I don't mean ego pride, by being able to see something that has returned. So the investment that I have invested, so that the investment, I am now seeing the return on the investment for all the work of healing. That face that I showed you in the beginning, that's the face of a healed healer. That's the face of somebody who made a choice to choose to do the work, to make the choice to do what needs to be done, to no longer harbor the stories. I'm not going to be the punching bag, and I'm not going to be apologizing for what somebody else has done upon me. And that's the truth. And so you are the one who gets to be the creator of you. Do that for you. And take a really good look at your truth, of your story, of your life. And know that it takes effort. And you want to see magic and miracles in your life. You want to see your life healed. You want to see a beautiful life. You want to see a positive life. You want to see a happy life. It's action. And you can't be half-assing it. You cannot half-ass this life and get half-ass results. You got to go all or nothing. You got to put your all into it. You have to see yourself as worthy to do that. And it takes work. It takes work. And sometimes it's not going to be pretty. You got to be willing to go through the trenches to get to the results that you want to see. And that's the truth. And everybody's trenches are different and everybody's stories are different. And you're not here to walk in my shoes or anyone else. You're here to walk in yours. So I give guidance and I share my stories and hope that in your stories, you can see you in your own stories, not in mine. And so that you can bring forth what you need to for you. And that if someone's got to hone in to see if it's actually you and to know that it is your truth, it is who you are, then you're doing something right. And that you don't have to filter the shit out of it in order for it to be you. There's a beauty, there's an essence, there's a radiance, there's a glow. Find yours today. Joy is not out in the material world. Joy and happiness is so deep ingrained inside of us. And it's called contentment, peace, freedom, liberty. And it happens when we free ourselves. So I hope today resonates with you. Much love to you all. Love and light to you all. Please feel free to share if you want. This is much longer than I had planned on it. It was only going to be like a 15, 20 minutes. Now I have to go out in this pouring down rain. I have to venture outside. And thank you for being with me. Much, much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.